Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I already feel much better about...
Say, did you catch the game last night? What a thriller. I had $50 riding on the underdog.
I don't really follow sports.
Listen, between you and me, I've got a hot stock tip. It's a company that makes artisanal, gluten-free dog treats.
I'm not sure...
Oh, and while you're here, want to buy some essential oils? They cure everything from anxiety to male pattern.
I should really be going. All right then, guys. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So this is going to be maybe long, probably got timestamps. We're going to be taking a look at talking faces. How can we get this done either with some local stuff or a mix of a few services? So the quality that we can get is actually pretty good. So the time is now. So we're going to be talking about talking faces and how we can make them better, right? So first of all, we're going to be covering SDXL with custom Lora training. We're going to be covering Suno and Udio music production. We're going to be covering KITSAI speech training. We're going to cover HEDRA Lipsync video. And then we're also going to do a LUMAAI Dream Machine for backgrounds. And then we're going to put it all together. So the basic idea is this. You have scenes which are animated, and you obviously create them first with the SDXL custom Lora, and do the same with the characters. Make a load of poses, make sure you got a high quality face so that the face swapping works when you get to the final stages. And that's everything. Obviously, we've covered Suno, Udio, we've covered all of this stuff in the past, maybe not Kits and HEDRA, but like I say, there'll be timestamps for each piece. So let's see. So the basic idea, just to give you it, is you have an overlay, which is a lot like my avatar, and it goes over a scene, right? So that's the basic concept. Obviously, it takes a bit of tricks. So in order to get to that, in order to get to the having of library of overlays and library of scenes, we're going to have to do some HEDRA to do audio and an image to create that, and then you rotoscope it and put it back in place. With the LUMAAI, we're going to be using to animate the scenes. Obviously, you're going to need, as I said before, close-up of the face, several poses, backgrounds. We're going to use SDXL to train that. With the rotoscoping, I'm going to use After Effects, but you could use any open-source rotoscope tool. There's plenty of them. Kits.ai is a service that allows you to train a high-quality speech model. We're going to do, in the future, open-source sort of variety. So, like, right, we're going to show it working with Kits, and then we're going to show RVC in future. All right. The V3 speech dataset is going to be a proof of concept. I'm going to be adding some new trickery to the dataset, and we're going to see if it works. It may not. The idea is I've already got a V2 speech set based on myself, so I am going to train with the new dataset a V3 model. That's the idea. We'll get to that. Obviously, we're going to need a script, so we're going to have to define scenes, characters, and we're going to use CLAUDE and/or our brains. All right, so that is the setup of what we're actually going to be doing. I think I've covered everything. That's what we're doing. And I've made a flowchart to show exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're going to start off with the image dataset. We're going to go through training the Lora first, then we're going to generate some characters, then we're going to prompt without the character for the scenes. We're then going to train the speech dataset. We're then going to record the lines from the script, which is what we're going to do first, obviously. Script comes for everything because, you know, what images do I need? Then we've got a library of lines. Obviously, we've got a script with lines. We've got characters in scenes. So then obviously all you have to do is composite. So what I would do is I would basically do the lip sync with the lines to characters and then rotoscope the characters out, save them to MOV, RGBA, and then we'll animate some of the backgrounds from our library of backgrounds. Those will be done with LUMAAI Dream Machine. And then finally, we can comp everything together and then edit it to match the screenplay, which is essentially the script with screen direction. And then finally, we've got the BGM mix, which we're obviously going to create with Udio. Forgot to write that in. So yeah, basically we're going to use, hang on, Udio or Suno. And that's it. That's the plan. And then once we've done that, we are done so. So basically, the first thing we're going to do is jump over to Claude, and we're going to make a quick scene. All right. So here we are. We're in Claude. What I want to do is I just want to write a short scene. I'm not too bothered if it's funny or anything, because I just want to show what we're doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Claude to help us write a short scene involving a therapist and a patient in a room. So I need to write a short scene involving a psychiatrist and a patient who are in a room having a session. Probably not the best way to put it, but I'm just trying to put this together off the top of my head on the fly so you can see if I change things, I can say why. So I need to write a short scene involving a psychiatrist and a patient who are having a, the session has come to an end. And now the psychiatrist is starting to talk about unrelated things. And then I'll just say satirical to see if it even, satirical in nature. Okay, and then we'll just see what it does. Okay, what do we got? Hey, how do you know my name's Mr. Johnson? Yeah, this is about right. The doctor's just crazy. This is pretty cool. So what we've got here is the end of a session where I'm afraid of clowns. And I start to thank him. And then he says, "Say, did you catch the game last night? I was betting on it." And I'm like, "What?" And then he's like, "I've got a hot stock tip. Buy stock in gluten-free dog treats." And then then he's like, "Oh, I've got the cure for pattern baldness. And don't forget to give me 5. So it's, the guy's a bit of a schizo, a little bit unstable, and it's making it uncomfortable. And so I guess the satire is, this is exactly what I was looking for. And I had to do very little, okay? Very little. The session has come to an end, and now the psychiatrist is starting to talk about unrelated things, satirical in nature. And it's really gone for it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, copy. Just click copy down here. And then we're going to open up a Google document. Google Drive. I'm going to say new. I'll have a document, please. So then we're going to type it up, right? So now I'm just going to sort of do some stuff which isn't there. So scene, treatment room, right? And then we can have some direction. So Mr. Johnson. So this would be close-up frame on the doctor. And then here, cut to close-up. Cut to close patient. Probably need to actually write it properly, but it needs to make more sense to you. So it's like, don't worry about standardization because this is for you. It's not to be sent somewhere, right? So, okay, so interrupting and confused and stuff, I'll show you how you can do that. You basically have to insert silence or remove silence from the audio clip. And then you render it both times with both faces. And then you just cut out Anyway, we're going to get there. So, so cut to patient, and then it would be, what, and then it will say wide shot, wide shot, retains the wide shot, and then this will be close-up frame doctor again. Okay, I think you get the idea. There's not much here, so I'll just finish it. Okay, close-up frame of the doctor, and then just for a bit of bit of drama, we'll just cut back to the patient again, and then immediately back. So it's like dun dun dun, and then we'll go wide shot of the room, and then I guess you could have exterior building distance. So it's sort of like now we go outside the camera and you can hear, I could maybe do like SFX footsteps as the person, I'm leaving now, you know what I mean? And then it just pans out on the building and you can just hear him saying, don't forget to rate me 5 stars, right? So we're trying to, you know, I don't want to try too hard, okay? But we've got a little dun 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 dun, and it's a bit silly, right? So that's what we've got. So what we'll do is we'll call this one the demo screenplay, I guess. It actually has the screenplay as well. And the thing is, the reason this part is so important is because it gives us locations, it gives us characters. And so now I know I need to make Dr. Mindwell and I need to make patient, who is Mr. Johnson. So that would be me. So for a little bit of you know, for a little bit of finesse, what I could do is I could make the patient be me, right? Use my voice and overlay. But I'm not trying to go crazy here. So we'll just use person number 2. All right. That's Mr. Johnson. All right. But it also gives us exactly what we need for the text to speech. Because once we've trained a model for Dr. Mindwell and a model for the patient, we're good to go, right? I might even could I make Dr. Mindwell female? Because I have a female doctor voice already. Is there anything here which is like, there's nothing here to introduce gender. So I don't even think I have to. Yeah, Doctor, okay, so we could make Dr. Mindwell female, and then I only have to show you training my speech model. So it'll be me talking, but I won't actually say the lines. You'll see me generate them. So essentially we have, now what I do is I put in a note. So I'll go speech model, Johnson v3, which we're going to train, is a patient, and Dr. Mindwell. I've forgotten what the name was, but it's my own private female voice model. I've forgotten what I've called it. It's been a while since I've logged in. We'll have a look at that when we get there. So right now we have done this. Would you like me to elaborate on any part of the scene or explain? No, never explain the joke. Okay. Big fail. All right, cool. So that would be the, boy, go away. So that would be the script done. So now we can move on to the next part. So with the script done, we are now here at the start of the chart. So basically now we're going to go through how the data set was trained to create the Lora that we're going to use. And that's going to be for the backgrounds and the characters, because they're actually already in one of the models. So let's get to that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the relevant sections from the data set, which we're going to use, and then explain how we're going to use them. So originally, this data set contained samples of a man and a woman, and those are the character designs which I wanted to approximate and generate from. So let's take a look at some of those. So this would be an example of one. There would be another. And this is a horror data set. And so the idea is that I want to use the character, but I don't want to use necessarily the horror tokens. And because the model can do this, what we can try to do is pull out this style man, but without referencing the fantasy stuff. There'll probably be like little accents of it, but it won't be anywhere near as strong as all this. Okay. And we're also going to do the same for woman. Oh, I think it actually was broken. So let me just go back and show you a bit of right. So we have NKH style man, unspeakable horrors. Unspeakable horrors is the name of the Lora that we have trained. And we trained it on CIVITAI, and we used the auto tag to pad out with more relevant tags from the image. So obviously we don't use them. It won't use that memory. So the idea is we're going to make this guy in the chair. He's the patient. Well, that's the idea. And then we're going to use the woman as the professor. So hopefully it won't look quite as crazy sci-fi. I think it'll look a little bit more, grounded because of the way that we'll prompt. But essentially, these are some of the images that were trained to teach the character. For this one, I actually did mess up. I was supposed to say woman. And for some reason, it trained it as scenery, which is going to actually be a problem because scenery was trained here. So that's actually going to kind of break the scenery by injecting women into it all the time. But this had a lot more training, so hopefully it doesn't do that. Because of the fact that the images were tagged with woman as well, it's just that it's going to bleed into the scenery token training. So that's just a little bit, it'll be interesting to see anyway. So the point is, once you've got your images, so again, images are always image and text pairs. So if I have image 57 here, that is paired with the exact same matching file name. And then inside it, we have a root, which has the main trigger. And then there'll be padded tokens from the auto tagger. Because I started using a blend of the two for people that want to use the online trainers. It saves you a lot of time. So that's how we did this particular data set for another video, which you can also find on the channel. So with that being said, we've basically got the model that we want. So let's go get it from Civit. So here we are on CIVITAI, and we're going to be looking for Unspeakable Horrors XL. There she is. Okay, and we have some characters that it can generate when you use certain prompts. So obviously we'll take a download of this, and then I'm going to run it on my own merged SDXL model. So I've taken my favorite SDXL models, merged them together, and combined them with something called cosine XL, which gives you continuous cosine. It's just a better depth for color range. But you don't have to do that. Again, videos are linked in the description. I've given out workflows and converters, so you can do this yourself. But anyway, you can use any SDXL base with this Lora, so it's kind of irrelevant. Just load up your favorite checkpoint. And then we'll move on to the next stage. So let's just go back and check out that. So what we've done effectively is we've trained the Lora. So by, there it is. I'll download it and use that one. Well, I've already got it because it's mine. Point is, image data set. We collected all of the images that we wanted to use for this project and trained them. And what that does is it keeps the generations in the same universe. All of this is to try and get things to match as best as we can with as little effort as possible. And then you can have something at the end which you can then use to build out scenes and stories with the characters you create. So anyway, we've trained the Lora, and now is the part where we have to get into COMFYUI. So we're going to be generating some characters, and we're going to be generating some scenes. We need a man and a woman, and we need a room to put them in. Now, technically, I've already made the room, but we're going to do this anyway, because the idea is that typically you'd have more than one room. So you would be generating outside, inside, you know, various different environments and locations as per required by the script. Okay. So for this, we only need like a room, which I've already made it, but we'll go over how it was created as we get there. So we got to generate some characters. So let's just jump over to COMFYUI and load up our Lora stack. And while COMFYUI is loading, it's worth mentioning that if you don't have workflows, I do have workflows up on my channel. Change. Thumbnails of doom. So basically, over on my models section, the link is in the description. There are workflows. So I'm going to be using Trio, probably COS Trio. There's a pack. So here is the pack, right? There's a whole bunch of them. I'd just say take the latest pack, but prompt control is its own thing. So there will be a V8 pack that's going to sort of roll it all together. But like I said, I try to encourage people to build their own stuff off the bases. So there isn't really a need to, you know, anyway. So what's this then? Is this Stable Diffusion 3? I bet it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, it is. This is Stable Diffusion 3, so I can't use this. Interesting note. Well, it's not really for commercial use right now, and the steps are the same. But then again, I want to use my custom Lora. And this is, you know, I've got the trainer set up, but that's going to be another video for another time. So what we'll do is we'll just make a backup of this one, just in case I made some changes and I want to go back to the one I was working on. And then we'll load up the, you know, load up Excel. So if I just go to output, we've got a COS Trio there. No, COS Trio, this is edit. This is edit. So I don't want to use that. Probably need to go back to the storage output, June, COS Trio, somewhere down the bottom, like, well, it'd be that one, wouldn't it? Yeah, there we go. Right, so that would be SDXL COS Trio. So what we're doing is we're using COS Real Jugs at the top in SDXL. That's my merge. That goes through into 3K samplers. You can toggle them on and off if you want. We have soup here, which we're going to toggle off for now. Let's see, we're doing fixed seed. We need to get the horror model loaded. So there it is. Horror model is loaded. Let's turn that off. Even though it is a good model, we'll use that for the scenery. Leave that on and turn that off. And then check the prompt. So for the horror style, I'm going to want a man. So let's just go through here until I find man. Man. There he is. Bold. So he's not bold. So I'm going to chuck this in there. So let's just zoom in on that. This is the basic prompt, right? I don't know why it's got multiple boys. Nope. Okay, so Ennett man, red hair, unspeakable horrors. So we can actually take that out. Yeah. Man, beard, facial hair, red hair, realistic male focus, bold. Right, okay. And there's no negative right now. So we'll throw that one in there and see what it comes out with, and then we'll go from there. Because usually it's a case of manipulating aspect ratio and a couple of prompt changes. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so taking a quick look-see No upscaling, so it's going to look a bit plasticky. But that's actually not bad. I mean, it's a good image. Just want to see if there was any point in making triple. Starts to get a bit of weirdness going on. I don't know if that's there. Was that always there? Yeah, that was always there. So we'll try some negative noise injection first. AABB. Okay, let's make this bigger. That did next to nothing. Probably because we got hyper, so I wouldn't worry about that. We could always add, put soup here to get it looking a bit more like a person. But I don't want, well, I mean, it's not bad to have a bald patient. But let's give him some hair. There we go. And as you can see, it is the character from the Lora. It's got the same haircut and the same basic facial features. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm actually going to upscale this one because what we need is a face target. Okay. Now, I don't know if I can get lying down, you know, like, so we can put him in place because the angle's always going to look wrong. So you probably want like a sort of, it's going to be a challenge to get the prompt right. I wonder if you can get away with it by just saying is on TV or something. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, what happened? What? Image resize, yeah. Image resize, yeah. 16, oof. Yeah, let's try 64, actually. Let's go again. Nope. Oh, this is funny. I've had this happen before, you know. I wonder what it was that I did to fix it. Trying to remember. I think I might have just... Because there's no attribute error there, really. It's just passing an image in and doing its thing. Let's just try being cheeky. Nah, it's still gonna error. So I wonder what that is. Bool has no... Oh, I know what it is. It's old. Right. So this happens sometimes. You'll update your nodes and there's going to be something that's different. Yeah, see stretch? I think it's that. Yeah, look, this is set to true, right? But true isn't an option anymore. So there's more options in that drop down, and so true is no longer an option. So when it tells you there's a Boolean, which it can't find, that's because it used to be method true or false, which was a Boolean, and now it's actually not even a Boolean anymore. So I believe that will fix it. But yeah, you got to watch out for stuff like that because often we're picking up these workflows or even you have your own workflow that you always go to and then it gives a funny error like that. That's a really good, this is partly why I'm doing this live because, you know, little things like that can help people. But what I always do when I get a problem like this is I'll refresh it just to see if it's some kind of caching thing going on. And if it isn't that, then I'll just remake the node and just check that it's the same. Sometimes you'll notice an extra option. This one was tricky because it didn't change from looking at it. But when you clicked on the options, true and false are no longer there. Now it's stretch, proportion, fill pad. So he's made it better and we've upgraded, but then our old workflow doesn't, it's got a default true for that. And obviously that's not an option. So that's how you fix that. I mean, I could have just clicked it, which is what I've figured it out in the end. But anyway, let's take a look at the results of the upscale. I just wanted to sort of explain what was going on there. So on the right, we have the, let's move me over a little bit. So this is the output of the SDXL with the Lora. And that is the output with the upscale. Now, obviously, this is going to get crushed. This image is going to get crushed, right? But the point is, this is a much better source image for face swapping and stuff. So if we do decide to make some scenes, we can use this as our target, you know, our main face ID, face swap, reactor, whatever it is we end up using. This is our source face, right? Because that's a really high quality close up. You know, if you set it to crop center, it's going to get a really good high detailed source to go from. So that's nice. So now what we want to do is see if we can expose some more stuff. So I don't know if we can get him to look away. Let's try and see if we can say looking away, right? Because ideally it would be nice to have a profile. Okay. Yes, and it's consistent. Yeah, we can, yeah, that's good. We can do, so I'll upscale that. And then we'll turn it off. And then I think somebody once said navigating. Somebody once told me that that was perhaps a good way to get him to face away. I don't know if it'll work, because technically there's no examples of that in the actual training. But what we're trying to do is, the reason that we trained examples first, so that it has an approximation of what it thought the most common features of that was. So then when we get it to call that up, it's much more consistent than trying to, like, you know, because sometimes one word of a prompt can completely change the character of a face. So we've taught it the sort of minute details of the face, and hopefully it'll stay grounded there. And as you can see, we removed all of the horror elements. It was just a trained token. So, okay, so we've got our next one. So let's go to the next angle, see if we can get a different rotation. Oh, it's a different look, but it's not. No, navigating. It's not. We're all on the same seed right now as well. So I could. Let's do a random seed and see. Okay, so he's a little bit further away. The hairstyle's a bit different. It is quite a lot different, actually. So let's just go back to that seed. Keep it there. Do some more prompting. So I'll say, looking at the horizon. Horizon. And maybe sunset. Maybe. We'll give this one a blast. It's just another, well, it is a better profile shot. Okay, so why don't we say then midnight? Is that midnight, is it? The trouble is, now I'm thinking about the angles that I'm going to need. So this is all very well and good. You know, we can make a bunch of, you know, if we were making a full production show, you can now start to prompt, you know, what you're going to end up submitting to the animation or rotoscope and then using the video, right? So there's two ways of doing it. Obviously, you've got puppeteering and then you've got the AI actual video. And then we're going to transform and put the layers together at the end. That's the idea. The idea is that way you're not actually generating everything. You're just generating the piece you need, which can be used again and again and again. Maybe you swap the head out, because it is possible to do really nice talking heads now. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So far what we've got is we've got a high quality face, right? And we're going to need that for face swaps. So what we probably should do at this point is actually implement the face swap. So what I would normally do is chuck it in here. So we're going to just literally go reactor face swap, right? And that's the input image. And then we're going to need a source image. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a load image. And then we're going to get that upscale from earlier, this one, and put it there, right? And we're going to use code format. We're going to leave all the things. Detect gender. I don't know about that. Okay, so, and then what we'll do is we'll make ourselves a save image. And let's see, what was the syntax for this one? So on this one, we'll call it Pos Trio React. Whoops, React. Okay. And then we'll get an idea for what that's going to do, because now what I need to do is make like a standing pose, a sitting pose, stuff like that. And it would be easier too, at this point, to shove in a control net, okay, so that we could drive it with a pose example, right? We could have an image pose example and then use a control net to guide it. But I want to do this in like steps. So now what we'll do is we'll say male focus. I'm just going to say sitting in a chair. Let's see what we get. Now, right now, it's just wild. It'll just give us whatever it's going to give us for the seed. That's actually not bad. I mean, obviously the perspective is going to be totally messed up, but it's very difficult to control the camera angle. So at least you've got him sitting. So how about laying on a therapy chair? I don't even know what that is. It's like a lays-on something. Lounge, lays-on, I don't know. Lounge, I don't know. Laying on a therapy chair. I don't know if it's going to let me get away with that. And to be honest, the angle's too specific. So I'm thinking about using close-ups and then just have like a janky wide shot because, you know, I think it would be funny. Oh, it's still doing the face swap. Is it downloading something? No, it's just taking a while. Okay, it's probably first warm-up. Okay, so, wow. Huh. That's actually done a pretty good job. So the original looked like that. And it's made him more personish. It's not actually, that's not bad, is it? I mean, it looked really, that's really plasticky. Yeah. And then we've used a superior upscale to get the detail on the face. I mean, it's not brilliant, but I wonder what happens now when we run this through the upscale and turn it on. Let's see what we get then. So off it goes. Yep, it's into the upscaler model. Okay, cool. So we'll know shortly. Probably not the best pose. I think I should go for maybe putting wide shot. Wide shot. What? Wide shot. Full body. Yeah, full body maybe. Maybe. Don't know. Turn this off because I don't want to waste time. So that was just a toggle there. Oh, we'll actually leave it on though, briefly, because I want to see the comparison. It's nearly finished. Okay, so let's take a look. Now, bear in mind that on YouTube, the compression takes the edge off the improvement, but okay, so that's the original, very blurry. If I go in this far, which is beyond 100%, if I go in there, it's okay, but it's very blurry. So, okay, so we've got a lot more detail, almost too much pause, actually, but that is really good. Like, it's possible to airbrush out too many pores, and there's no distortion either on the, there's no distortion. It's exactly, it's perfect. That's actually really good. I do like what it's done with the eyes. It's almost perfect. It messed up the pupil over here a bit, but look at the hairs there. Okay. So now we've got a character who can talk, right? And I'm thinking that's great. We could rotoscope this out and put it on a puppet body, and you can make the body completely separately, and then you don't have to worry about like a lot of things. Okay, you don't have to worry about a lot of things. Because obviously I want to show you this project in full without like spending weeks on it, which is what will happen if you actually do it for real, because you want to get every single bit exactly right. And it would look amazing if you finished that. But like I said, I'm going to take a few shortcuts here and there. So, for example, this is actually a pretty good face now. So what I want to do probably, it's not the same as that. It's a lot, I admit, we've lost some beard length and we've lost some hairstyling, but it's probably a little bit more realistic now. So what I think I'll do is I'll try to get this wide shot, and then we'll go from there. Should probably change the, I was about to say I should probably change the aspect ratio, and then it's just gone and given me that. That's pretty good. Got some weirdness going on, but that's pretty good. Like his hands don't match his forearms for some reason. It's like he's got a shirt on which is skin, wearing a skin shirt, which is a bit weird. I think the original wasn't that bad. I think it's the result of a watch, and then it's getting confused about if this is clothes or not. So do you know what? Let's try the next seed, see what happens. I might just change the aspect ratio as well. Now that's pretty good. It's more of a barber's chair. Okay, a therapy chair. Lying on a therapy sofa? Do you know what? This is my fault for not knowing the terminology for the, it's like something, okay, this is better. All right, he's now on a sofa. His beard is super long now, though, which is a bit of an inconsistency, but it was supposed to be that long. So how about we go back a seed and just see. Okay. I think it's flip the aspect and see what happens. Yeah, well, that could work, you know, that could work. It could work. Okay, let's give it a blast. Give it a blast. It's a bit weird. Okay. Turn that off. Let's see now. What else can we do? So we've made our character 1. So now it's time to make our character 2. So this would be an HK style Whoa Man. without a beard, I'm afraid. Sorry, no facial hair today. Realistic female focus, full body, doctor sitting in chair. I don't know. Doctor sitting in chair. Do. Okay. And it'll be finished making the upscale any second now. There we go. So that's the finished image of the dude lying down. I only really need his head. And obviously you could spend hours generating the bestest ever pose, or using ControlNet, which is something I wanted to show, but probably best for another video, because the whole point is to do the whole thing and show you the start to finish here. So we've got that. Let's make a woo man. Okay. Oof. Okay, it got better, and it got better again. It's a bit weird. That leg is a bit weird. It's like it looks like she's got 2 left legs and a mustache. That's, I said no facial hair. Are you not allowed to have, oh, I know what it is. Yeah, you probably want to bypass that. Okay. So what we want to do first is we don't actually want to do doctor sitting in a chair yet. So what I'll do is I'll copy that, make a note, put it there, because we can come back to it. And then what we'll do is we'll take this off and take that off. So we're back to our base prompt, but it's feminized, right? Now we're getting somewhere, okay? So now maybe I want to do close up. Do I really want to get the face? Because what we're trying to do is get an imprint of a character first, which will then apply to all the later gens for that character. So you have like a master face, and then all of your poses will look better because it's always targeting the same face. And it was coming from this model, so it will be able to do it. Anyway, so if I go close up, and let's say maybe we don't want red hair here. Let's say we want black hair this time. Okay. There we go. She's got some crazy hair for the doctor. Maybe I want to say black. I wonder if I say black professional hair, what's it going to do? What does it think that is? Oh, wow. It's what? Okay. Black. Oh, it's a black professional with. That's okay. That's interesting. So what happens if I say this is always fun? This is always part of the journey, guys. So what if I say blonde professional hair? Now we're getting somewhere. So what about if I say glasses, realistic, and then doctor? This should be interesting. Okay, we've now got something looking closer to a medical professional. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say, oh, can we make it any more close up? Can I maybe prioritize it just by moving the token, or do I have to upweight it? I just want to see if I can get a closer. That's a little bit closer. All right. I mean, I don't know if it can target the glasses. That might mess things up, but we'll give it a go and find out, right? So we're going to upscale it. And then we'll use that to drive our reactor in the later thingamyboobs. So Now we can come back to our original prompt. And because we have this face queued up, it should at least be in the same universe. It might not be the same as this, but all images that this concoction will create will be consistent. Hell, why is it? It's highlighting everything in blue. Okay. Do we have our high quality person still encoding? Okay, let's take a quick look-see here. So it's done the same sort of thing. It's given us a bit more hair and a little bit more skin pore detail that we didn't have, which is nice, okay? So that's nice. It's also sort of upgraded her glasses a little bit. You know, it's the skin details and the noise in the shadows which really helps. That's what Supia is good for. So what we're going to do, as I said, is we're going to drag that last upscaled image in as source. And then that will become the guide for the next generation. So now I'll just disable super upscale. And let's have a look and see what we get. Okay, so there's a few things I got to do. I forgot that I changed her to a blonde. And I said realistic doctor. Female focus, and then I'll just say glasses at the end. Glasses. Yeah, that's the same person, and you could use that, you know, from above. You know what I mean? You could cut that out and then use it from like above. Once it's blown up, you'll be scaling things down anyway into the scene, or you should be. But you've got to try and maintain some consistency. And she's more of a psychiatrist. So how about I say that? How about realistic? I don't even know if it can do that. Let's find out. Okay, yeah, that's a bit better, actually. Realistic psychiatrist. Okay, and now we want to say full body glasses woman. Let's say sitting in chair. Let's go for that. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. That's actually pretty good. Pretty good. Obviously, it's a bit difficult because you'd have to include the chair, you know? Like, the chair is coming along for the ride on this one. But I'd say that's acceptable. So, you know, for the purposes of getting it done. Now, the way that we make the room match is a bit of a trick. If you want to be super accurate, you're going to need a 3D environment and a posable camera. You can do this in Unreal Engine 5 or Blender. I won't be covering that in this all-in-one because we're not going to do that, right? But if you wanted to make it like picture perfect, you would have an interior, right? And you would AI generate off of the shot of the image without her there. And then the next thing that we'd superimpose would have the matching camera position with the other part of the scene. And that's how you keep it consistent. But I'll get round to showing you that, I'm sure. It's easy to explain, easier to show, but I haven't got around to making the video yet, so we'll get there. Trying to cover the basic idea first. You can go into more detail in every step. Every step you could spend hours on if you wanted to. So, Looks like it's doing my upscale. So while it's doing that, oh wait, no, okay, fine, it's nearly finished. So let's take a look and see what it's done with the face enabled and upscaled. Should be pretty good. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this. Hands are always a problem. They've always been a problem with SDXL. Look at that. Look at that claw. Oh, yeah. It's like part of the chair. But the trick is that we've got such a big image here that what we can do is we can crop it like, we could crop it like that. Like, you know, could do some cropping anyway. Crop it there. Okay, so it seems to have jumped a bit. Oh, that's not a good face. Something's gone a bit wrong there. Ugh. Something's gone a bit wrong there. Let's have a look at the output. Ugh. What happened? Go look at this. That looks fine. See, probably just use that and do like a dumb upscale. When I say what a dumb upscale, you just drag the image out and get a resize node, or just copy one from somewhere else, in fact. So I know I've got a copy. We were looking at it earlier. We get one of these image resize plus nodes, throw that there, and as you can see, it just makes it big, right? And obviously it's going to pixelate. But if I show you what that means, I need to turn off the upscaler real quick, like so. Okay. Now it's going to be interesting trying to animate because they always look a bit weird when they've got all this mad hair everywhere. It might not do well with that. But yeah, as you can see here, this is going to be a 4K image now, but you can see the pixelation. So if I like, or 2K rather, because it's not square, but it'll be 2000 maximum height. I don't know what the width is. It should be 4000. As you can see here, the problem that we have with face swapping stuff is it often pixelates things in weird ways. And the pixelation pattern doesn't match the rest of the image, see? So it'll kind of stand out a bit. Now you can do airbrushing and stuff, but that's quite labor intensive. Now, what I've been doing is I've just been taking these images, just make them talk. Putting them all into the scene is like the fun part that we're doing today. So, all right. It's so hot today, guys. I am melting. All right, let's move on. So we have generated the characters. So that means we need to generate some scenes. Now, luckily, I already did that. But essentially, all that really means is taking out the character, the thing, and then just say, realistic psychiatrist office interior, and then we'll go to what's it called here, and we'll say 16 to 9. Now I already did it, so they're not going to be what we're using, but I'm going to show you what I did with the images I made already. So as you can see here, there we go. So this isn't the one I would use, but I would work on making an interior, right? Maybe have 2 angles of the same room if you can pull it off. But essentially, all we have to do is crop out the area where the patient is and crop out the area where the doctor is. And then we do animation on those, empty. And then we can put stuff in front of them after we've done the mouth animation. So there we go. So we've got some backgrounds. We can upscale them. We can make more backgrounds. And it's essentially just typing something different to get a different scene for a different script. Different characters, whatever you need, right? Okay. So at this point, I think we're done because we would have made the images that we need to put the thing together by now. And we will have organized those images into folders so we can easily grab them when we need them later, right? So don't lose your stuff. Next, we're going to be moving on to training the speech model. Now, this bit's quite fun because I'm going to create the speech model dataset with you as the first step. So let's get doing it. Okay, so first of all, Control-C and then Y, and we can shut down COMFYUI, free up our VRAM for now. So this is Audacity. Anybody can pick this up. It's free software, great software. They're also pro AI. They got a whole bunch of stuff that you can install to augment and extend its capabilities with using ONNX and a couple of other models. So what we're going to do is we're going to do my new script. So before, what I used to do is I would just get about 10, 15 minutes of high quality audio. That's what I used to do, right? And the concept is still the same. However, I've got a bit more of a strategy this time. So we're going to test the theory. Is more speech more better? Okay. And the way I'm testing that is I'm going to be using a script that I've prepared. It's based on research on accents. So I've basically taken their script, which they use to demonstrate accents from around the world in the English language. And it's got every consonant and vowel in there, sort of blind at the end of their blanket statement. And I think that this might actually be an interesting way to train voices, because often certain sounds are missing from the data set. So without further ado, let's get to it. I'm just going to shut my window. So the important thing is basically to just maintain your, just maintain your position and be comfortable and just speak naturally. So here we go. Hello and welcome. I'm talking to you today to help you understand my local accent. I'm proud to come from Gloucestershire, and the city welcomes tourists and visitors of every kind from everywhere, near and far. I hope you enjoy your stay. If you're not sure you've understood this clearly, please listen to every word again. Thank you for listening. Ship, sheep, put, you, 10, letter, girl, saw, cat, sun, car, hot, here, name, whore, toy, no, where, my, how, hot, bed, tap, door, chair, jam, come, gum, for, very, think, the, sun, zoo, she, vision, man, nose, angry, happy, late, red, want, yes. That's the vowels and the consonants. And there we go. So now I'm going to open my windows because it's like I'm dying in here. Ooh. Wow. Visible sweating from like 1 minute of shutting all the windows, but you really don't want background noise like birds and planes and cars and whatever else noises that you get near your house. So from this point, what I will do is I will click here and I will say split stereo to mono, and then I will, pretty sure you just delete one of them. Hello and welcome. I'm talking to you today to help you understand my local accent. Oh yeah. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just trim out this silence here, go to the end, trim out the silence here. Now, often these things will be sliced and everything for you now. You used to have to do it yourself. So let's see, that's 1 minute. It's probably not enough, all right? But I want to see if that actually has an effect, because it might be that it's a bad train, but the accents are better, in which case I just have to tag this on the end of my normal data set, and then it will be improved. So like I said, I'm looking for some results with this one. So yeah, we want to export. What the heck? Right, select all. Export audio, export. What's going on here? Have they changed something here? Something's changed. All right, cool. That's what I wanted. I want mono. I'm going to call this Johnson V3 test speech. We probably should have done it to WAV. Let's just double check that it's not going to do that again, is it? No, we don't. Okay, right. MP3, right. So again, Johnson test speech. And then we say a WAV file, please. There it is. WAV, mono, export. It's generally what they want, unless they ask for something else. Okay. All right, cool. So then that is basically the speech model. Now, previously, you would just do this with 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of audio, but the AIs get so much better and, you don't need as much. And so I thought this is an interesting way to plan out. Because obviously, if I had a different accent, I would say those words in a completely different way. And then that should aim to fill in the gaps where if I was just talking naturally, I may never hit one or more of them because there's about 30 of them. And I think they combine differently too. So that's going to be the thing I'm going to learn today. Is it possible to use that as a way to improve the speech data set? And if it is, do I still need to do it the old way? So just for the context, I would have just recorded me talking. It doesn't matter, really. It can be anything. But obviously, I'm trying to get a bit more strategic with the data set. Anyway, let's get back to the main plan. So now we have to actually train the speech. Okay, now training the speech is going to be fun because we're going to have to use a website for this. Now, in the future, I want to show doing it with Google Colab, which gives you a route to doing it on your local machine for free with just the GPU that you spent $2,000 on. But the point I'm trying to make is that some people didn't spend the $2,000. Some people have got the Adobe software and they generate images with Comfy on their computer, but they haven't got that far into it where they're doing it all on their computer, or maybe they don't have enough VRAM because there's a lot of different sizes, right? So at that point, is it cheaper to buy a $2,000 or $3,000 4090, or is it cheaper to just spend 20 quid a month, get the job done, and not invest in the hardware? So I know there's different people watching these videos. Ideally, it's nice to be able to do it for free, but generally, free isn't free. Free is you investing thousands of dollars in hardware first. So it's kind of like the argument could be made that some of these services, it's cheap if you don't need to use them every day. If you need to do it once or twice a month, you could probably just do subscription, and it's going to be cheaper over the years, right? Because they have to upgrade all their hardware, and you never had to buy any. So something to think about. Depends how big your project is, really. Right, if it's just a bit of fun, consider dropping $30 on a month and then cancel it. Just make sure you pick the monthly, not the 12-month. It's going to be cheaper for the annual, okay? But if you cancel it early, there might be a fee or whatever. So just make sure it's a 30-day deal, because they've caught me out with that before as well. So it's just something to check out. Right then, so it's time to run over to KITSAI and train some speech. I'll see you in a second. Okay, we're back. We're over on the creator plan, which I think is $30 for a month. And what we're going to do, because I already have my Johnson V2 and I have my Tamitha, which is what I'm going to use for the psychiatrist, the woman. But what we're going to do is we're going to retrain Johnson V2 with hardly any information, and then we'll compare the outputs and see which one was better. I've got a feeling that the accent might be better with this one, but we'll find out. So what we're going to do, and we can do blending now, which is very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say voice cloning. Vocals clean, only include one voice. Yeah. None of this is all good. I've already sorted all this. Yeah. Let's just double check that it does still want a mono. Yeah, mono, 16-bit, lossless WAV. Right, there we go. That's all we really need to know. Because it's just clean speech. So let's just go to downloads and use the testspeech.wav. There it is. So it needs me to combine. Okay, right. So maybe I can add the previous data set as well. That's a shame because I wanted it to be cut and dry, but it's just not enough speech. So I think I'll augment my own my old data set. Okay. Let's see if the data set is here. Nope. I wonder if the data set is here. Johnson. There it is. Johnson V2. It's only 6 seconds. That's an output. So that would be the input. 8 minutes, yeah. Minimum 10. Huh? I thought it said minimum 3. Now it says minimum 10. I mean, there's no need to remove stuff which isn't there. So they recommend 30 minutes now, huh? Oh, well, you know, I am a guy that talks a lot. So it's not like there isn't audio to take. But for the purposes of, like, I wanted to compare the V2 and the V3. So I want to make it so that the only change is this new test speech with the accent samples. And that was always a shortcoming of this system as well. So I'm just going to go ahead. It's speaking, which is cool. And I'm going to call it Johnson V3. Okay, that'll do for a thumb. So there we go. Your data set is shorter than him. Yeah, I know. It's fine, but that's fine. We'll see how bad it is, all right? It's my choice. My model, my choice. Maybe I want to train it bad. Yeah. So what this means is I've just got to take a longer sample of my speech to add in to the data set of audios. The difference with audio speech is that you don't need any tagging. The file names don't matter. You know, it's slightly different from images in that way. So. All right. Well, this might actually take a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to time travel now. So you're going to jump into the future. So let's review. We did the image data set. I showed you that. We trained the Lora. I've showed you that. We created some characters. Obviously, you'd spend more time on these stages. Created some scenes. Set up a speech data set. Showed you that. Trained it. So let's go and see what the result was like. Now, the previous Johnson 2, when I say this line, thank you, doctor, I feel much better about, sounded like this. Oh, thank you, doctor. Hang on. Let me turn off my mic and turn on this. I already feel much better. Oh, thank you, doctor. I already feel much better about. And as you could hear, there was a weird American accent on there. And like I said, what I was trying to do was provide it with a bunch of phonemes so that it could learn my accent a little bit more accurately. So that little thing which I've tagged on should improve this. So what we're going to listen to is a model that was trained on the same data set as V2, but with that additional phoneme data set like I recorded in the previous section. So let's listen to the difference. Oh, thank you, doctor. I already feel much better about. Like I said, that is probably 10 times better at capturing my accent than the previous model. So I would call that actually a big success. If you see, the intonation is completely changed, much more accurate to my sort of pacing, I guess. So we've also got Tamitha ready to go. So we had her say, well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today.
And we've run it through a demo just so we can take a look and see what this is looking like.
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns. Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is...
Okay, so that's pretty much where we're at. Now, there's a couple of little tricks we can do. So when we do the text to speech, there's a couple of things we can do here. So I'm going to use text to speech for Tamitha. But before I put it into before we pull the project into HEDRA, okay, which is what we use for the lip syncing, what you want to do is you want to inject some pauses and take out some gaps so that you can modify the pacing in Audacity. So before we put the audio in, we're going to make the timing sound more natural, and that will convert into a more natural looking animation. So it'll sound and look better in one edit. Okay. So obviously here's our Audacity. This isn't a clip, right? So let's just get rid of that. And I'll give you an example. So if we take Tamitha's audio here, like this.
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for...
So what I could say is I could say,
Well, Mr. Johnson. Well, Mr. Johnson.
I could take out the gap there.
Our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent...
And then I could put in a bit more of a pause. I could put a pause in.
I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Okay, it's a bit of a weird way to do it, but just for the sake of argument. So if I was now to select all of that and then export audio to WAV, mono. Okay, so it should all be good. We want to change this now to edit, right? And then if I go to the file now, that should be there. It doesn't feel like it did it. No, there it is. Cool. And then I go back to HEDRA. Put the audio there. Get the good doctor, although she's not upscaled. Where's the upscaled version? Third. HD. React. There it is. It's that one. And generate. Okay, so let's give this one a listen.
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today.
Looks like I must have clipped it somewhere. But the point is, I deleted a gap and then I deleted the end. But yeah, it's different and it affects the movement. So that was what I was trying to do. The next challenge, of course, is to actually put this into a scene or use it somehow. So that'll be the next fun challenge. So going back to where we're at, now what I'm going to do is record the lines. So that basically means picking the correct model, going to text to speech, going to our script. And so I'll do all of my lines first. So copy them, put that there. I think that medium is fine. I don't think I have to put mine on low pitch. Sometimes you have to choose the pitch. Tamitha needs high pitch to match ground zero. I think that mine is fine on medium. But we'll find out. So hopefully that's correct. I can't really say confused. So if I just say this and So let's hear.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I already feel much better about...
It's all right. It's all right. It's still got a bit of Americanism. So maybe I just need to make another 10 minutes of audio and do a V4. Okay. So download the lines, and then we need to get scenes to animate the faces. That's going to be the next challenge. And then we'll worry about the rotoscoping later, because as you can see, I haven't done myself any favors picking all this hair to rotoscope. But when it moves,
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today.
the whole head is actually moving, which is kind of cool. Because before it would just make things sort of stretch inside there. But you can see there, I know you probably won't be able to, in fact, I'm going to mute it there. But you can see here, the eyes are a bit weird. A bit of a weird blinking eye thing going on. And also, it's not just like morphing inside of itself. The whole head is actually moving properly. If the eyes weren't so weird, that might be the glasses. I've not seen it do that before. It's like her eyes are looking off up here for a frame or two. But anyway, you could probably fix that by just dropping a couple of frames, because there's a couple of frames in there with weird eyes. When she blinks, it's like she's got two sets of eyelids or something. Anyway, and we have lost a bit of detail from our image to this image. So bear that in mind, that even if you're going to use these really high quality images, there is a level of I wouldn't really call it degradation. It looks like the aspect ratio might have changed a bit as well. You know, it seems a bit squished over here. But anyway, so going back to the plan, now we've recorded all of our lines, it's time to HEDRA, which means we're going to need to create, using our characters, the avatars which are going to say the lines. So obviously I've got one of the guy and one of the woman, and we already made those images. So I will get that all organized and we'll pick up from where we left off. Okay, so we're back in Comfy, and what we've basically done is we've dragged our best images. So we've dragged our best female image in, and what we've done is we put it on random seed, batch 8, and then we've done close up, all right? And then it's given us a whole bunch of poses. They're loosely the same person in various stages. Okay. So then we got lots of different shots for the different lines. And then I've just done the same thing with our man. So as you can see, we've just got lots of different shots. His clothes are changing, but I'm actually intending on removing his head. So that's the next step. So now we've got the faces. We can go into HEDRA and we can start.
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Trying to make him speak a little bit. See, it's going to take a couple of runs by the looks of it, but I think it'll be possible. So we'll get back when we've got more to show. Right, here we go. We've done all of the lines. All right. I took the script, which we made at the beginning of the video. I put them all through the voice models that we've trained, and then I used Comfy to create the characters, and now we've created the characters and they're all speaking. I should really be going. So, basically, now I've got to move on to the next step. So let's just check our plan. Next step is rotoscope. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking those heads and creating floating head squares. Okay, so we're going to have to boot up After Effects. And then what we'll do is we'll create some bins and we'll drop our stuff in. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so I started off just saving the project, the something. So we saved the project, and you go new folder, created two new folders. So I'm going to drag in the video from the patient, and then I'm going to drag in the video for the doctor. There we go. And she's probably going to be a bit more tricky because she's got blonde hair everywhere. But it should be okay. So this is going to be pretty simple. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up the first one. So you need to be looking at the thing. So let's drag it down in here and then double click on it. So then we're into the actual comp, right? And what we want to do now is we just want to, you can't see it. Let's just make it smaller. There you go. You can see the toolbar. So up here in the top, there's a roto brush. If you hold it, there's refine edge, but we're just going to use the roto brush, right? So I'm going to kind of do something like that. And then I'm going to say not here. Okay. And then we're going to, hair is always a bit of a nightmare, but we have tricks for the hair. I find if you trace the line, it'll just slowly go out in a sort of manageable way. So let's try getting a bit more of her hair down here. There we go. Okay. I mean, that's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. I mean, I don't really want any neck. Don't really want any neck. Should probably zoom in a bit. Whoa. So yeah, don't want any of this. So I'm going to have to lose a bit of the bangs. Whoops, went too far. Well, actually. Nuts. Let's try and do that. Whoops, wrong button. See, I did myself in really when I decided to do her with blonde hair, because it suddenly made her all frazzly. Okay. Let's try something like that. Get that bang. Okay. Now, one thing that we can do is we can use refine, and it is used for hair. So we probably need a bigger brush. There we go. And if I just sort of overlap the edges where it's hair, it should sort of automatically do its best to figure out where the hair is at. Okay. Hope that doesn't go nuts. But basically, I need to go back to the normal roto brush and just clean up down here. Okay, right. So, and there's another loose pixel there. Right. Can I just clean that? Yes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to hit play. Well, save it first. Hit play.
Well, Mr. Johnson, our time is up.
Okay, sorry about the mic feedback. So yeah, basically once you've got that comped, right, we can then go back to our composition, and you'll notice now you just have a floating head. So now we hit render queue and Control M. And then what we're going to do, can you see the project settings? Yes, nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it. So we're going to change it to QuickTime, and then we're going to change it to RGB plus alpha. You want to see something here that says animation. I had to activate that ages ago. I had to choose animation. You might not need to. I don't know if it's a default in the new version. But QuickTime RGB alpha animation. And what that'll do is give you a .mov of just the floating head, which is a video layer, with audio too. Audio is going to work fine. I don't normally use that part, but hey. There it is. And then once you've set that, you then need to say where you want it to go. So usually I choose my 22 and E. So I'm going to put it there and say go, save. All right. And then we'll render it out. Done. And so I'm now going to repeat this process. So, just in case you're a complete noob with this, right? What you can do is you can just delete the thing, and then you can drop the new one in here, and then double click, and then now you're ready to start again. Draw on my face. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to rotoscope the remaining videos, render them to a transparent layer of just a head, just a disjointed head, and then we are good. So I'll come back to you then. Okay, so I'm done. I've got all of my comps done. So I've got a bunch of mobs. We can chuck them into scenes now. So we've got the heads isolated with the talking for both characters. So now it's time to open up and make some composites with the scenes that we've got. So I've got a couple of backgrounds. And what we've done is we've gone over to Luma Labs, Dream Machine. Okay. And using this with image to image. So taking the scenes that you had. So we'll go through and do one of them now. So if we get a scene. So right now, the only scene we have an example of is the office. I think we got like one empty. Should have a couple of empties. Where are they? There's one. Right, cool. So basically what I do is I open it up and that's annoying. Can I not just drag? No? Not allowed to do that, huh? Ooh. All right, well, we're enterprising individuals, so we'll just do that. And then it is number 57 on the second. 57. There we go. Open it up. And then we say office psychiatrist's office. An empty psychiatrist's office. Diffuse light, soft focus. Okay. We've only got the heads. So the intention is we're going to make some bodies. So we might have to jump back into Comfy to make some bodies, which will remove the background and the head. And then it becomes a sort of puppet, I guess. But we're going to do the character animation thing another time. So, well, I suppose we could do it now. But that's more of a webcam thing. So I want to introduce things in steps. And this is already big enough. But what you can do is instead, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the woman. For example, like an image like this, for example. Yeah. And then we're going to remove the head, basically. And then isolate the body. And then we can put the body in the scene. And then we can put the head on the body. And it's going to look kind of janky, but I try to show people what's possible by connecting all of the things, and then other people can come along and spend more time and do better. So sometimes this is just like, hey, did you know you could do stuff like this? Just think about it. Go, I want to do it. Like we've sort of just spewed out a generic scene here. This is just a bit of a joke, really, right? So we're not seriously trying to make some big production, but it is a thing. So, HEDRA's done. So we're going to have to jump back into COMFYUI to make some, like, not T-poses. It would have been a T-pose for character animator, but that's going to be another video for another day. I don't see why we should overcomplicate things. At the moment, we're just going to literally comp them in. But it is possible to use a puppet. So while it's dreaming, I will go ahead and generate some bodies. All right, and there it is. It just gives us sort of like a slow pan of the room. Now, what I would say is you could probably make a whole bunch of these, maybe crop them, put them at different angles. My idea is really just to sort of blow up and use a part of the video behind with a blur so that we have a sort of person and we have a other person. But I want to make some bodies. This isn't the background I'm going to use either. So, like I said, I'm going to make some more stuff. But first, we're going to need to reopen Comfy. So that's step one. Okay, here we go again. So what we got is we've got two images. We've got Dr. Lady in a chair and we've got man on a sofa. And so what I'm going to do is to save this from being like a 4-hour video and to show you the principles of what we're trying to do here. We're just going to take out the head. Okay, so it should be pretty easy. We've got our object selection tool. Just drag it over there. We'll probably need to unlock the background by double-clicking the old padlock there. Get rid of that. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to shift backspace it. Okay, now believe it or not, that should be good enough. There's only one thing I need to do, which is just to get a brush, or even better, a clone brush. Clone brush, clone brush, clone brush. Get a bigger clone brush. Like that. Target there and down. Target there and down. Target there and down. Target there and... Oh, right, wrong. Target there and down. Probably do another one there like that. In fact, I think we can just sort of minimize this stump a little bit. Because it's a curtain hanging down, it's quite good for it. Okay. And then we probably want to get the skin color for the neck and just, I don't know. That's not very good, really. Leave that alone. Leave that alone. I just went up a bit. Ooh, oh, see, I shouldn't have gone down. Just go like that. Oh. Whoops. Okay, we're really buggering it up now. There we go. Okay, so save that. And then we've got to do the same thing to this lady here. We'll leave it a little bit of hair, though. Okay. So back to the object selection. Select the face. But hopefully, we do want a bit of the head, actually, because it'll look weird. Oh, Okay, let's see if we can't. It's being a bit of a pain. Give it one more go, and then I'm going to have to paint it. That's actually going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the brush because I want to leave a little bit there. Yeah. Ah! Let's try it again. like that. There. Okay. This is a mess. This isn't going to go as cleanly as last time, I can say that. Okay, that's a little bit tidier now. Again, Control C and then Shift backspace. Oh yeah, double click, unlock the layer, Shift back. Go away. Go away. I'm not trying to set anything right now. Look. I didn't want to do anything. Shift backspace. I don't want to do. Yeah, see, it's being silly. Put it back on that and then do. Yeah. There we go. It's gone. And then we're going to get our clone brush again. And I'm going to go like that. And I'm just literally going to be cheeky. I'm going to do the same thing from here. And this isn't supposed to be perfect. It's just an approximation so that it doesn't look quite as bad when we put the head over there, right? So we got unlucky there because really we got a bit of neck, we got a bit of hair. Should be good. Okay. Save that. And then we have background scene. Whoops. Okay, and we have a foreground scene. Now, what we could have done is we could have continued and cut the body out and put it into a new scene with a new chair and generate that and have a video layer behind of the scenery sort of, the curtains moving and stuff like that. But I reckon it's probably easier just to make those elements separately and do that as an extra step. So we've got a headless man and we've got a headless woman. So now it's time to open up Premiere or similar editing suite and chuck some heads on and see how silly it looks. Okay, so what have we got? We got it all comped together. So what we've got here is we've got a top layer, which is the head. We've got a bottom layer, which is the background. And then we've got the audio for that respective clip. What I've done is I've got a one side and another side. So what we can do is we can tweak the sound parameters. So I could say this is high tone. And I could say this is low tone. We're using small dry room with a reverb and a clip of a -11. And we get something that looks a little bit like this.
Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent.
Oh yeah, I need to put the audio on. Ha ha.
Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I already feel much better about.
Say, did you catch the game last night? What a thriller. I had $50 riding on the underdog.
I don't really follow sports.
Listen, between you and me, I've got a hot stock tip. It's a company that makes artisanal, gluten-free dog treats.
I'm not sure.
Oh, and while you're here, want to buy some essential oils? They cure everything from anxiety to male pattern.
I should really be going.
Mr. Johnson.
Okay, so it worked. Couple of things. I think making a puppet is going to be better because obviously you can attach the head to the body and have it follow. So when the head moves around, you can have the body move around with it, which is something I couldn't do here. But that's just like a couple of, I want to do puppets in a separate video because it's like other pieces of software and it's a little bit more like this video really, but I'm trying to build it together and then you can connect the dots if you want. It's not really necessary most of the time. I would say that these scenes are working a lot better than these scenes. And I think the reason is something to do with, like I said, her head is moving way too much. And the way you can fix that is with a motion track to keep her head in one spot. So back when we were in After Effects, we could have motion tracked the head to stay in the middle of the frame, and then it's easier to apply. I think the reason is that this guy, he's moving his head, but for some reason the angle looks more believable, I think. Whereas this one, it's easy to tell. It's probably the hair as well. You can tell that it's like a different focus. It did kind of work though, giving her a little bit of hair. It's just it doesn't actually match after it's been made video and come back again. So next time what I'd probably do is either a woman with a ponytail, a hat, short hairstyle, or a bob, so it's not coming down of her shoulder. But these are all things that are easy to sort of learn as you learn. Like I said, these are like nuances. They're fine. They're like little details you only come across when you actually come to try and do it. It would be nice to make the whole thing feel a bit more lively, and I think the way to do that is to actually have an upper body puppet at least, so that the upper body moves with the head, or is attached to the body. Yeah. But this is actually pretty good. I do like it. These bits look really convincing.
Thank you, Doctor.
I mean, that's not the best one. Let's see. That one's a bit better.
I don't really follow sports.
And also you can see at the edges here, we've got some bleed through where it's masked out. You can see what's on each side. It's in the mask, basically. So a little bit of mask jutsu required there as well to make it a bit better. But ultimately, we have made the scene. That's the funny thing. And it did take a while, but the irony is, like, if you're using characters that are original and you're using a script that's original, you can do everything on your own. So, like I said, we'll give it one more play because it's been hours in the making. Here we go.
Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I already feel much better about...
Say, did you catch the game last night? What a thriller. I had $50 riding on the underdog.
I don't really follow sports.
Listen, between you and me, I've got a hot stock tip. It's a company that makes artisanal, gluten-free dog treats.
I'm not sure...
Oh, and while you're here, want to buy some essential oils? They cure everything from anxiety to male pattern.
I should really be going.
So let's see if it's still possible to pull off my little trick. So if I take one of the Johnson heads, so let's say, how long is that? 3 seconds. 3 seconds. No, I think this is lying to me. I think that's lying to me. Yeah, okay, so just put that there. And mute it. And then say some other things which I was going to say. Oh, let's try with this one. Something else I was saying. And again, something else I was going to say earlier. And again, guys. So I was trying to say this thing. And then I didn't say the thing. But then I did. Well, whoops. Then I said the thing about, well, yeah, ha, ha, ha. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. I think you get where I'm going with that. It's just puppetry, and you could do like a time code seek or some kind of random, just play this, what's 100% there? And it's not bad, you know, when you actually get into it. I mean, let's just zoom in a bit more on this bad boy here. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty expressive. The teeth have still got some problems. We really need this to be open source, though, because a lot of the stuff that you're trying to do with it, it's just not, you know, you need full creative control when you're being creative. You can't have walls and barriers. So you need to sort of, I hope the open source Lipsync improves, because this is really good, you know, it's very close. That's my masking on the edge of the beard there. That's me. That's me not doing a good job. But that's something that you can go back and improve. It's not like the end of the world. You know, I've still got the originals. I can just go back and I can improve that. So all in all, I'm quite happy with the outcome. It does work with a caveat, and that is that certain angles work better, certain angles work worse. Hair is a nightmare. And you really do need it to be attached to the body. So in the next big project, we're going to be looking at character animator, making characters in a T-pose, turning them into puppets, and then combining that with everything we did today. So like I said, I'll probably play this video at the beginning of the I'll probably play this at the beginning of the video so people have an idea of what I'm actually doing. And I'll admit, look, every single stage could have been better. The heads could have been better. The backgrounds could have been better. Everything could have been better. What I'm trying to show is what we're trying to do, how to do it, what you need to do. And the funny thing is, it's actually not that much effort once you've done it a few times. I'd say this is the best cut here. That one there. See, in a way, it needs a better script from the start. You know what I mean? Like, this is why, if you've got a good idea, go ahead. If you haven't got a good idea, spin the wheels. But don't put too much time into this stuff. Just learn the skills and move on. Because there's so many skills. Until you've got a good idea and a good script, it's going to come out like this. It's going to be okay for demonstration. Like, hey, cool, we can do this. But this isn't going to, you know, this is... This is borderline, should I even publish it? Because the thing is, it's like, that's bad. That's really bad. But I could, like I said, I could do a render and replace with After Effects, and I could do the, I could motion track it to the neck. And so then it would stop moving around. But like I said, these are all, it's all just additional steps. And to be honest, we have finished. We've gotten to the end. So, BGM mix. We need to put some audio in there. So obviously I'm going to use my time-lapse audio. And with that, we used the piano solo. And I jigged around the heads a little bit, changed the scales and stuff. You know, try to get it to be a little bit more coherent. And now we end up with this.
Mr. Johnson, our time is up for today. I think we've made excellent progress on your fear of clowns.
Oh, thank you, Doctor. I already feel much better about...
Say, did you catch the game last night? What a thriller. I had $50 riding on the underdog.
I don't really follow sports.
Listen, between you and me, I've got a hot stock tip. It's a company that makes artisanal, gluten-free dog treats.
I'm not sure...
Oh, and while you're here, want to buy some essential oils? They cure everything from anxiety to male pattern.
I should really be going.
And with that, we are donezo. So that's pretty much it, guys. I think that's the whole workflow. So we had the idea, we put it together, we trained a whole bunch of models. Now, you wouldn't have needed to train a whole bunch of models. The argument is you could have just done this exactly the same with a whole lot less effort and had the same result, if not better, if you just drill on it. And that's true. But the difference is that with your images, training your model, you can now create infinite your characters in whatever poses. You can also create infinite scenes in whatever style you want. As for the speech data set, it's not your voice. I know I've trained it on my voice, but I also got a woman's voice in there. I can't do a woman's voice, guys, all right? That's 100% synthetic. So we got a... and I wanted the European accent as well, okay? So that's not like by accident. As you know, I was trying to get my English accent more refined in my V3 model. And the V4 is going to be even better. But these are sort of other AI training and applications, which I don't really get to talk about much in the Comfy side. And you need Comfy to make all of this. So to get your starting point, So even when you have all these web services like Pika, the Dream Machine, you know, all of these things, you've got to have a good image to put into it first. Obviously, prompt engineering, prompt craft is very important. But if you don't have an image to put in, a good image, then you're not really giving the animation engine a chance to give you a good video. So that's what we're doing. We're maximizing our chances for coherency, control, and quality. So here we are. We made our speech models, and obviously that means that now your character has a speech model. If you ever wanted to make more stuff, you just type text to speech and then animate with your key art, and now your character is saying the new thing. So you can do it all yourself, and this is expandable. You can build from this. It's hard work to set up this foundation, but then once you've got it, you can carry it on. And I've chosen to do it in photorealism because that's like the hardest one to do. If you were doing a cartoon, this would have been it would have been easier anyway, because obviously it's easier to get away with some stuff, right? But the basic concept is the same. You've got layers. Often, in fact, they actually only animate the mouth. But I wanted to see how good, because like the head movements and the lip sync with HEDRA is really good. So I wanted to put it to the test. So here we have it. We've rotoscoped our animations and then put them over. We didn't actually use animated backgrounds in the end. We just used a static image, and that could have helped too. But then we'd need to do a whole load of motion tracking. So maybe we'll do a future video, which would be shorter. Now we've got this as a part one. Where maybe we can refine things like that. So having an animated background, because if you have a person walking, you could have any animated background. So then you use the same walking animation for different locations. The trick is you got to keep the camera angles right. So there's a lot of stuff that you can trip up on. Like I say, if I'm being critical about the video I had, the masking could have been better. So it would have been better. So never put out the first draft is the obvious. We all know this. But the first draft was actually pretty good. I was surprised at how good it was considering how much time went into it. And then, because not much is the answer. And because I've just been sort of casually doing this as I've been working today when I've had a bit of free time. So yeah, it's taken me the afternoon, but I've done a whole bunch of stuff today. Been out and all sorts. But yeah, I think this is a solid way to put things together, probably with like a little bit more. So for example, you could offset rotoscope like a helmet over your character. It depends on the setting, doesn't it? But there's loads of stuff you could do. And just remember, Terrence and Philip is amazing. I'll leave that thought in your head. So there it is. Thanks for watching. This is going to be one of the sort of mega project advanced things where we put it all together and end up with something janky at the end. But you could have done every single step of this better. So just the idea, I'm trying to help people see the chain of things they could do. So that's the idea of this. Put it all together in your heads, have some big ideas, spend a day trying to see if you can make them come to life. It's always fun. So there it is. We're done. So as always, come over to the Discord, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one.